This is Chimera Cult with their song Have a Year from their debut album on Tell Craig Your Story podcast. Listeners' discretion advised. You've been warned.
Hello there, folks. I am Jason Schaller, also known as Sushen, and you are listening to Tell Craig Your Story podcast. Rock on, motherfuckers.
Tell Craig your story. Tell Craig your story.
Hi guys, Craig here. Welcome to another edition of the podcast, Tell Craig Your Story. Today we'll be speaking to singer, songwriter, and recording artist Jason Schaller. Now Jason is originally from Ontario, Canada. He moved to Shanghai almost 10 years ago now. He's been in previous heavy metal bands PVA and Hitobashira, who have done some touring in Japan and through Asia. But his current band, Chimera Cult, are about to release their debut album, and we've been lucky enough to get an exclusive of the mastered copy of two of their songs. The first one that we heard at the start of the podcast was Have a Year, and at the end of the podcast you will hear Chimera Rise. It has a very Black Sabbath influence. I love it. The chugging of the guitars. Now, Jason has also been involved in This Is Shanghai. It's a compilation album that gives the opportunity for all underground music in Shanghai and get a bit of exposure. You know, Jason has an amazing passion for music and art. He's helped a lot of bands in Shanghai. But before we go, please go to our website. We're at Podbean. Tell Craig Your Story at podbean.com. We are on all the social medias. And we also have a YouTube channel there, which you can download all the latest videos. We also have a link tree there, which tells you where Tell Craig Your Story podcast is streaming. At Tell Craig Your Story. And we have VK for our Russian listeners and WeChat for our Chinese listeners. All right, here we go. This is my chat with Jason Schaller on Tell Craig Your Story podcast. Hey Jason, how you doing today?
Great, man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on. It's been a long time coming, but we've finally got a chance to come here, and we're at the very famous Inferno Bar in downtown Shanghai. So, Jace, you've been here a lot longer than I have in Shanghai, and you were here last year. I know what happened worldwide. I went home, but you actually stayed here. So I want to get your first sort of, how was it like, being so close to Wuhan, and you survived.
Well, barely.
So how was it living in?
Initially, right as it broke out, I was actually coming back from Bali with my girlfriend at the time.
Right.
And so it was just like day before, flights canceled, book another one, and it was like 3 flights in a row. I had to get someone to actually help me who works for C-Trip to give us a route through. I think we came through Hong Kong, if I'm not mistaken, to get back to Shanghai. But it was at the time, it was just really, I don't know, that feeling is just wow, man, you're just taken aback, almost surreal.
Yeah.
I get on the plane, there's hardly anybody there. Everyone's being tested and everything, screened to get on. Then you come back here and the city's just ghost town.
Yes.
It's post-apocalyptic.
Yes. Like
a bomb went off or something, and people are just no one really knows how to react to the situation. So it was a little bit unsettling, but I have to admit, part of me was sort of badass, 'cause I'm big into post-apocalyptic stuff.
Yes.
Zombies and everything. So I'm that's sort of cool, but I probably shouldn't think that. But and I don't want to say I don't take it too lightly or anything like that. Obviously, it's been a big tragedy for many people.
Yeah.
But it was, I can't say I wasn't a little bit curious to see how this is going to go down. And so anyways, it was like a ghost town, man. Everything was closed. Inferno was open for a while, and even we had to close. And then I was just pretty much in an apartment with my girlfriend, and we're just passing the days. I'm just looking at the news, watching numbers go up, and then...
How did you survive? Was with the bar being down, did you have online work or something you could...
I did. Well, the bar's not actually my source of revenue. The bars... I did for a little bit, but it could barely pay rent, sort of thing.
Right.
I got a very high standard of living. So I teach full time, to be clear, just for all my capital to invest in the bars and the bands and shit. Can I say shit on this podcast?
Yeah, sure.
Right, no. Shit. So anyway, so with the bar going down, I still had some savings and stuff, and our school is still paying us to do online stuff.
Oh, that's good.
So financially, I wasn't worried. I was actually happy because between work and the bar, I'm always out. I always got to talk to people and stuff, and I'm actually really, really more of an introvert. I just became an extrovert because, I was a teenager and I wanted to get laid, so I had to adapt. But really, I was like, this is a sort of, I hate to say this, but sort of like a godsend. Like, because I had to stay home. I couldn't leave, and I could just be as introverted as I want.
Yes.
Just read and exercise every day, no drinking or anything like that.
Yeah, right.
Oh, man, I always need an excuse not to drink. It's like, being at a bar and stuff and being on the music scene. So it was great, man. For me, and I hate to take positive light of such a terrible situation, but for me, it was just like I rebuilt myself. I was reading, I was exercising every morning. I had like a strict regime or routine, I should say. And it was great, man. People were like, "Oh, let's meet up." I'm like, "No, I shouldn't meet up for a beer. Gotta follow the rules." But really, I just didn't want to, anyways.
Yeah, turning a negative into a positive, but that's great. But recharge the batteries and.
Oh, it was great, man. It was probably like, I hate to say it, was like probably one of the best weeks of my life. Just mentally, just rebuilding myself, man. Not just getting drunk all the time and stuff, and just being able to like self-reflect and rebuild.
Yeah, and sort of have some new goals for now and for in the future, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, that's really interesting because I wasn't here in this time. I sort of was at the start, and Shanghai, like you said, it was just a ghost town.
Yeah.
I was going to go to the USA, and then Trump said next day, if you're in China, can't go. So I went back home. So I can only see from the news sort of side of it. Since I've come back, the China and the whole way that they've handled it, so professional, and I've got nothing bad to say at all about how they've, you've got to scan the barcodes and, so I just think it's...
If I wasn't here, I wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, that's
I'd be like, oh, come on, I can't, there's no way. The rest of the world can't take care of it in one country. Magically did it. It must be media control or something. But no, man, being here, it's like, since like June last year, I guess, that's when everything was just like fully reopened, and it's, apart from wearing masks and everything, man, it's just been business as usual. Like, I'm like, oh, fuck, I gotta go back to work. God damn it. But like, and again, I joke, but like, I know a lot of people have been out of work for a long time, that type of stuff. But it's essentially been back to normal since June. Had a bit of a scare, obviously, recently with Beijing had a lot of cases, and Shanghai had a bit. But now even that seems to be under control, and it's like, it's surreal. Yeah. Meanwhile, the rest of the world's still like going back into God knows what round of quarantine.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's crazy, but if I wasn't here, I wouldn't believe it. Be like,
yeah, they're setting the standard, definitely. So, Jason, let's go back, way back. Correct me if I'm wrong. We've talked quite a bit, like in Shanghai, and I've looked at some information online today. But you were born in Ontario, Canada.
Yes,
is that correct?
Correct.
So, tell me, what was that like? What was it like, Ontario?
All right. Well, I was born in where I grew up in a suburb of Toronto called Brampton.
Right. Okay.
And I don't think there's a single person from Brampton who won't say the same thing. It's sort of like a shithole, man. Like
right.
And I don't. It just
hardworking sort of.
When I picture it, man, I just picture like malls and plazas and 1 or 2 story buildings, and just like gray. I always have such a gray tint to it when I look back on it. And like we were like the stabbing capital of Canada while I was in high school for a while. I was like,
oh dear.
It's like, at least we got something. At least we invested something. But we were like the fastest growing city as well. We had a huge immigration, and I'm not saying anything that's negative or anything.
Yeah.
But we just like, our population exploded, and we were like 500,000, I guess, 10 years ago. I don't know where we're at now. But there's just nothing to do there.
Right.
And you get out of high school, and I was working at like a retail shop for a bit, and then I was like, fuck this, I gotta go to university. Yeah. And so I got out, and I wanted to have like my own place sort of thing. So I went to Guelph University after, studied biology there.
Where is this? Is this actually in Toronto?
Yes, still near Toronto. Guelph would be a little bit more farther than Brampton.
Right.
I went there, studied biology. I didn't finish biology. So I was in Guelph for about 4 years, and then on the 5th year, and I'm sort of like meandering through. I was taking the courses I need to, but like the minimum sort of thing. I was basically in university just to get out of the hometown, just to, grow as a person, just be on my own sort of thing. I lived with roommates, obviously, but I just wanted to, explore yourself. You're an adult and just want to see what you can do on your own.
Yeah.
I started taking Chinese on the side because I saw an ad for it, so I took it for a couple semesters, and then there was like, well, I'll do a semester abroad in China. And I didn't know anything about China, man, and I feel bad saying that, but I think a lot of people, until maybe recent history when it's become like a big news target, I don't think a lot of people did back home. Like, my dad said, oh yeah, don't forget, it's smaller than Ontario. no, I think you're thinking of Europe. And I looked up, like China's just barely smaller than Canada.
Right.
And so I didn't know where it was. I didn't know their history.
Yeah.
I didn't know what Hong Kong, Taiwan, all that stuff. They were just all China or not China.
That's right.
I was never really clear on that.
Yeah.
So I came here, and I'm still just like a young retard. Like I was, I came here with a group of people. Shout out to, I guess, Dave Luce, who runs Shift now in the Fixed Barbershop with Budweiser.
Right.
We came here, and we're just, we're just getting drunk and partying, man. This is crazy. There's like a city of 30 million, like, or less, but like almost the population of Canada.
So it was your idea to come here, or?
Yeah, well, I saw an advertisement for like study abroad for a semester, and I didn't know Shanghai. There was like Shanghai. I can't remember the other cities, but like they were all. I didn't know anything about them, so I just looked up which one was the biggest. Shanghai was like, all right, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, right.
Came here, took lessons at Huashida originally. We did that for like a year, and then I'm like, fuck, man, I want to stay, but I got like no more money.
You're right.
So like I got paid off. Everyone's like, oh, you can just get a job English teaching. Did that for a while, and then they're like, all right, government's cracking down. You need a degree to do this.
Right.
So I switched my major to just Bachelor of Arts this semester at Jiaotong University, and then online as well.
Right.
I was just it was like the worst semester of my life because I was doing school here, and then at night online. I was also doing university in Canada, and it was just like, man, what little hairs I had left in my head, I was pulling them out.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I got a degree, so I could like work legitimately here, and just been doing that since. I worked at Inferno for a little bit, but again, couldn't pay bills, and like also with the bands and stuff, like you need capital to do this stuff, man. You can't. You could maybe live the poor life, but not really if you want to pay rent. So. Kindergarten. Well, I work at a kindergarten now, but teaching English pays very well, as most people know.
Oh
here.
yes.
So I do that during the day, Inferno during the night sometimes, and but like out of my pocket, I just do the events and stuff for free, and because you need a lot of capital to invest in stuff, man. If you want to start a band, all right, you got to buy shirts and stuff. You want to go to another city, well, there's another 1,000 quid to get there and back. Never mind your lodgings or beer, especially. Our bands go through a lot of beer.
Yeah, that's right. Like, sorry, let's go back to Ontario. Were your parents like musically?
No.
How did you get into music? Normally, it's like a parent or a friend or someone. So, how did you first get involved with music?
Being an angry teenager.
Right.
None of my parents are musically inclined. My dad's he's a decent singer. I'm better than you, Dad. But no, my parents, they both love music. My mom was actually huge into Queen, like.
Right.
And so that's what like got me into Queen, and Queen's one of my top favorite bands still to this day. But as a kid, I grew up on Queen and stuff, and my dad just loved oldies like doo-wop, Motown. So I got in a lot of that. And then I strayed in high school because I got into like rock and roll and stuff because I was a little more angrier than Queen could put the words. And
yeah.
then I got into metal, and then I got into grunge, and grunge just took me for years, like especially Nirvana and Alice in Chains. I was like 10 years of that's all I listened to.
Right.
And then I got a little more back into metal near the end of university in Canada. But yeah, like those were my musical origins. But no, I started playing guitar, I think 16. And that's when I got introduced to Nirvana and grunge. And I was like...
Seems to be a time in that sort of period where, you know, it was very easy to play those guitar the chords, so very simple. So, you know, picking up a guitar, like before that, you had all the really widdly solos and trying to fit all the riffs into one. So the grunge was a good chance to sort of, you know, learn the...
It was perfect. I had no experience. I was angry. I was like such a nerdy teen. I couldn't get laid. So I was like, oh, I'm just angry and I want to express it somehow, but I suck at guitar. It's like, grunge, yes. I could express the emotion. And then I don't have to be too competent at guitar. Like I got a little better eventually. I'm shit now because I haven't played in a long time, but...
And did you go to shows in Ontario? Like,
yeah, I went to shows. I organized shows.
Right.
I never actually really played that much in Ontario. It wasn't until Shanghai I started like playing. I did like maybe some cover shit and played at parties with another band's playing like, oh, come do a song. And,
yeah.
But I never actually like played with a full band until Shanghai.
Right.
And to be clear, I got here 9.5 years ago. Oh, shit, man, it's gonna be 10 soon.
But I remember talking to you before, like you were doing a touring like through the US and Canada, right? Like
No, we were planning it out. Alpaca did. Maybe you might be thinking of them. Or Spill Your Guts. We were planning to do touring like many times, and the last time we were planning to was maybe go to America during last year,
right.
pre-COVID. But I couldn't really get like people's schedules and money and stuff. I couldn't really get it to happen. But I've always been trying to do touring. Like we did touring in Asia though. Like we went to not too many places. Japan I've been to 3 times.
Right.
Taiwan a couple times.
Because
like,
that's got a real good metal scene, right? Japan.
Oh man, Japan's fucking next
Yeah.
level music. Every type of scene, man. Just man, they don't do anything half-assed. Like you go there.
Yeah.
I think the Greater Tokyo area. Someone in Japan told me they have like 500 live houses roughly, and you pay to play there, man. You gotta bring in some money, or else you gotta pay to use the venue. And it's so competitive. But like even all the amateur artists you play with, man, these guys are just fucking shredding it. They're killing it. Like they don't do it half-assed. They just put their full effort into it. And it was like really cool to play with the cats down there, man. Like they were all just like so much more competent musicians. I'm like, wow, I'm lucky to even play with these guys. It would be too hard to break into Japan if I was living there for some reason, or although I'd love to live there. It's cool as fuck place.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and it's so close. Like I was living in Qingdao before I come to Shanghai, and it's closer to go to Osaka from here than it is to go to Qingdao. And it's like, God, why aren't I going there? So tell us about, you said your first band, was here in Shanghai, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how did that all form? Like, you're a foreign person. China's not really renowned for their metal scene.
Definitely
So, how did you go about doing that? And,
because when I first got here, I was hanging out with mainly foreigners. So
right.
obviously, and this is one of the cool just side notes from like being in Shanghai, because you get people from all over the world with different musical experience and cultures. So it's crazy that everybody comes here with all their experience into one like little vector of music. So you always find like cool musicians who just have maybe similar or completely different backgrounds, and you just make some weird amalgamation of like all these cultures and styles. But anyways, going back to the question, just through friends, I met Jan, who's currently in Spill Your Guts. He's a bassist. He's also from Canada, from Quebec, but I just met him through other friends, I think through skateboarding or some stuff, which I don't do. Then we needed a drummer, another buddy of mine, Brian Murdoch, shout out to him, who started T-Moose. He knew a guy, so we met at Inferno, the original Inferno. This is the third incarnation.
Yes.
That's before I was involved in it. So met a guy named Clive Parkinson from England, but he also lived in California, so his accent switched back and forth depending on who he was talking to.
Right.
So he played drums, and I was on bass, and I was doing guitar and vocals. That was PVA, People's Volunteer
PVA.
Army.
Right.
Yeah, we were doing that for a while, and it was great because that was more of a hardcore thing. I didn't even know the difference between hardcore and metal at the time. I thought we were metal, but it was like, no, you guys are punk. You're hardcore punk. So,
Right.
all right, whatever, I'll take it.
Yeah.
But I always wanted to be a vocalist, not as much a guitarist. Like I always wanted to be like sort of Kurt Cobain figure, like guitarist and vocals, but I wasn't really good at either. So to do them both at the same time was like really hindering me. So
was this also the first time that you come up with lyrics as well?
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been dying. Like I wrote like poetry in high school. I'm more like just like angry streams of consciousness and stuff. So I got into that because I got like, I was pretty emo. I was angry and emo. So
Yeah.
but that was the first time I got to put down some lyrics, and I was really happy with that. But like I always felt like I wanted to get rid of the guitar.
Yeah.
We were considering bringing another guitar player, but also I wanted to be more metal too. And Jan was heavy into punk, and he liked a lot of hardcore and even some metal, but he wanted to be more punk, more fast paced, just simple punk.
Yeah.
And I liked the songs we made, but it wasn't really fulfilling to me. And then so I don't know how it happened. Oh,
So with this style of music, was it like raw, or were you actually singing this one just really, really fast?
that one was actually both.
Right.
I didn't know quite well how to scream at the time, and even now to scream with like an instrument in my hand, I can't properly do it. I gotta cheat a bit and cup the mic or really get in there. But I gotta be full. I gotta dedicate my whole body to it. I can't just be trying to focus on another instrument. So there was some screaming in there, but a lot of half of it was actually a bit of singing. I tried to make it like dirty, badass singing, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
I didn't really know how to do it at the time. So that was that one. And then afterwards, Clive, our drummer at PVA, with him, he became a guitarist in our next band. We're doing a side project on drums was Joshua Thompson from Shanghai Tattoo, big up Shanghai Tattoo. And I found a bassist by the name of Tim, who left shortly afterwards. But anyways, that formed Hitobashira. And then I got to actually like be a metal vocalist, which is what I always wanted to do. I always wanted to be a vocalist, but I was just never really that competent.
So this is the band that I was first introduced to as well when you come in.
Supposed to play drums too.
That's right. That's right. I saw you guys play when I first moved to Shanghai, and you were playing at Loafers, and I saw you do all the rehearsals, and I was with Josh with Hydroslug. So they were rehearsing, you rehearsed, and all the bands went up there, and I was just talking to the bass player, and he said, "Hey, I play guitar and I play drums as well." And, what music are you into? I said, I like Metallica, I like the thrashy sort of, and he said, "Come and try out for the bit." And that was the first time I met you. Yeah, I remember you saying, "Oh, so we've got a gig like in Beijing and we've got a gig in Guangzhou," and it's like, "Oh man, I'd love to, but I've just started a new job and
I think you worked weekends too or something."
Yeah, I was at a training center, so that didn't help either. So it all worked out. You got another drummer, right? And
well, not for Hitobashira, we did like just barely, and then COVID hit. So we finally found a drummer. Permanent drummer. We had Clive substituted for a bit for a while because he left, and then we got a new. Like I've switched all the members. No, I didn't switch them, but people left, and we had to replace all the members once, and then.
So tell us about that. I mean, how difficult is it to have a band in a foreign country with all expats? I mean, they're all moving around. And
Yep, very difficult. There's some people who are lifers, and some people here for a couple of years.
That's right. Yeah.
Similar to like in a university town, like
yes,
probably even actually maybe a little better. But yeah, basically people come and go. Like Shanghai's an ephemeral place, man. Things change all the time, like structurally, and just like people, vibes, the culture, the scenes. Man, it's Shanghai music scene since I've got here, man. It's completely different. Now we're actually on an upswing, but I'll talk about that later. But yeah, so like basically Hitobashira, the whole band left within a month, all for different reasons. Well, Josh and Ting from Shanghai Tattoo, they were opening up a location in Folsom, California.
Right. So
they were going to do that. Clive was leaving. He was just going to do his business in England, which is helping people prepare for like SATs or write essays to get into universities. And then Jan got not Spiller got Jan PBA Jan, but Jan from Hitobashira. He got an offer with his wife. Well, not he got an offer for work in America, coincidentally at that time. So him and his wife were moving there, and that was all within 1 month. All 3 members were gone.
Wow.
So I got a couple new members. Big up Nikita and Ethan on bass and guitar. And,
Ethan. Actually, that's the one I was talking to. Ethan.
Oh,
Ethan is who I was talking to.
Okay, that's a little bit later. That was Hitobashira 2.0.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're looking for drummers. That was it. And then Clive came back for the summer, and he was a very competent drummer in PVA. He's like, I'll just play a couple shows in the summer. I'll just be on drums.
Yeah.
We did that. We played about 4 shows. I think like Beijing, Nanjing, Wuhan, Shanghai, and then he took off. And then we were looking for a drummer again. Then we finally got Sammy on board from formerly of T-Moose, the Machinery of Other Skeletons. And then COVID hit. Ethan left and to America, and he hasn't been back since. Nikita left to Siberia. And then Sammy was supposed to do a couple gigs, but it wasn't really like supposed to be a permanent drummer. And then it's like, well, fuck, there we go again.
and it's so funny because like I remember the first band that I played in. If somebody was to leave, that's like someone like my girlfriend leaving me, and it's like, why? Come on, what are you doing?
Totally was that.
So how is it for you? Like it's just like, okay, yep, you're going next.
I'm totally because I'm totally dedicated to this. People have other ambitions in mind. Like I'm not fooling myself thinking I'm gonna be a big fucking rock star or anything, but being in a band is the most gratifying thing to me. To play a show, to create music, like I see creating music as like, it's sort of like you're putting out art, and I'm not an artist in any means really, but putting out art, and with the digital age now, once it's out there forever, essentially.
Yeah.
It's like a part of immortality. It's like I contributed to humankind, maybe not in that great a way at all, but I made something for humanity. Here it is. It's 6 people who listen to it. I don't give a shit. It's out there forever. So I love creating. It's sort of, I don't know, it's my fear of death or something to keep a immortal piece of me out there forever. So for me, I'm dedicated to this. And also just playing a show, man, I feel invincible. I could feel like I could do anything. I go fucking crazy on stage. And I just like, even like hours after the show, I'm still, I'm still riding that high. So it's like the greatest thing. I live right now for every show I play. Yeah, I guess other people are like, they do it for a side thing. But, people, you got to be realistic. People, if you got a better job opportunity, that's going to keep you alive. It's going to be a down payment on a house or something. So, like, other people, it's not as, well, at least I felt, it's not at their forefront as much as it is for me.
Yes.
But for me, that's my main thing. That's what everything I'm doing is towards just making music. So, like, when people leave, it's like, fuck off, man. Fuck off. We were in this together.
Again.
What, you're getting married? Fuck that shit, man. We had something here.
Come on, we got a gig here. Come on. It's the priorities.
You gotta go play the show to the same audience again.
That's right. Let's play at the wedding.
Yeah, can we at least do that?
Hitobashira, how was the writing process with that one? I mean, you said that you had PVA, you wrote music there, but how was that different to this band?
No, process was similar. Like, basically, I'm shit at writing instruments, but vocals and rhythm, I could, like, rhythmic vocals or melody, I could sort of do competently. But like in PVA, Jan would pretty much write most of it. He'd come up with like a riff on bass, or even on guitar. He'd be like, "Here, play this on guitar." I'd be like, "Yeah, sure, what the fuck."
Yes.
Melodies and rhythm I would do, because I've always wanted to be a singer, so I've always just like listened carefully to singers. Like, my 2 favorite singers are Freddie Mercury and Lane Staley. So I've always...
That's 2 pretty...
Oh, yeah. So
pretty good ones.
Set the bar really high.
Yeah.
I'm always going to be disappointed with myself. But, so, like, I can do... I'm not saying I'm the best at making melodies or rhythm, but I'd stick to it. Like, I'd sit with a song, I'd put on repeat for an hour, maybe just have a couple drinks. And the best way for me is, as there's no weed in fucking China anymore. Best thing for me is just to get a buzz on and just get a little emotional and just do it. Like, the practices where I don't have to work the next day and I can just have like 3 to 6 beers. That's the best. And I feel it. I just go in there, I just stream of consciousness, rhythm, and lyrics, and I'll get a couple words I like, and I'll be like, all right, that sounds pretty powerful. I really like the feeling from that, and I'll write a song around that. And like 2 verses in, I'm like, wow, I didn't really have that much to say about it, but I already committed. Now I got to finish it. But that's the most effective way for me to get melodies, or like vocal rhythms. Because for a lot of metal, I wouldn't call it melody. It's just like it's almost like a rhythm part.
And with the writing process, is it like based on previous experience, or is it from what you're seeing now, or how does
you? Usually, it's based on whatever line. There's always 1 or 2 lines in the song that I'm just yelling garbage on the mic while we're practicing, and then like something just comes. I just say it. I'm like, wow, that felt good. That's where this song's going.
Yes.
A lot of it with Hitobashira, there's a lot of existential shit because like, what are we alive for and all that stuff. So that was a big part of that. Then you do stuff, regular ass metal stuff like, whoa, war's bad and all that shit. But you get in relationships. Recently I've been more into relationships, like human relationships, which I think isn't actually as important as the stuff I was doing with Hitobashira. Yeah. I've been a little more, well, I don't know. That's the story of the new band, but maybe do that later.
Yes, we'll get into that very, very later. I just wanted, where did the band name come from?
Hitobashira? That was actually Clive. We had a few names, but he proposed a bunch of them, and he's like, "Oh, this Hitobashira. This is it's actually pretty metal. It's a Japanese name. I probably don't even say it right, but it's when because Japan was on a fault line, so they obviously had like a lot of earthquakes and stuff, and being in pre-modern times, like you don't know what the fuck caused that. Yeah. People just correlate to I don't know. We killed somebody the other day. We killed a lot of people, and we haven't had earthquakes. So I guess just sacrifice people. I guess that's what some god or deity wants. So I don't know how they got that correlation, but they thought, if we kill a bunch of people and sacrifice them before we build buildings, they will be spared during earthquakes or whatever wrath of the gods comes our way. Yeah, so they somehow got, man, I can't even, man, humans are insane. I can't, how the fuck, how desperate we're in the living, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
But somehow they came up with that correlation. And so it's the act of sacrificing people. I think it was mainly for like castles or like temples, and I think sometimes they'd even bury them alive underneath. I don't know. It's been a long time since I looked it up. I don't know if that was verified, but yeah, pretty much sacrificing people before you build infrastructure to ensure it is spared come the next wrath of the gods.
So they let you come in with a visa with that name and do a tour of Japan?
Japan was everybody had English names. We were the only ones. Japan, we really confused them because we're a band from China with a Japanese name. It's just a bunch of white dudes. Like, wait, which band are you? Hitobashira? You're not Japanese. No, we're from China. You're not Chinese. Well, we're here. Let's play. Let's rock and roll. Yeah, that always, nobody knew. Everybody was very shocked to see it. Not very shocked, but a lot of people were surprised at because we were always labeled as a Chinese band with a Japanese name, and just a bunch of like middle-aged white dudes just let's rock out.
So
with the beers.
I saw that you brought out a film clip. So obviously there's an album involved. Did you have more than one album? Was it just one album?
For Hitobashira?
Yeah. We
had two full albums. Well, not full. One was 5. I don't know what 5. I guess.
Was it like a live album as well? Or?
There was originally we had a demo album, which I've since removed from the site because it was just shitty. But that's like as soon as you make a band, you're like, you just want to put your songs.
Yeah.
So we had like a demo album, which was just like terrible live recordings. Then we made our first album, The Famine, which was 5 songs. So I guess that'd be an
like
EP.
An EP,
That'd be an EP. All right, for me, that was like, wow, that's an album. But yeah, I guess it's an EP. Then we had a sample album of like rough mixes and songs to like bridge between our final album, which is a self-titled Hitobashira, which had I think 8 tracks, if I'm not mistaken. And then we have some like lost tracks in between that I'm pretty sure are online. But yeah, so I guess 1 EP, 1 LP.
Yeah.
If I remember the nomenclature right.
Yeah, because it said I went to the YouTube link and it was you guys on the beach.
Oh.
And in Qingdao. And it was like going back and forth between the beach and the like a live show.
What song was that? And big up to Clive, man. Clive used to he'd just be filming everything all the time. We never really knew what he was doing. Then like a week after our tour, he'd like come up with this hilarious video. Enemies in the Shadows.
Enemies in the Shadows.
Yeah.
There we go.
Dope.
Yeah.
So
you rubbing the sun cream on
on
the band members, and then you there.
So we got those. I've never made a music video with a band, like a proper music video. I just have such a shitty imagination. I can never think of anything other than just showing us playing in the video. If anybody's got any ideas out there, pitch them.
Do you think it'll ever come back together, or it's just
Hitobashira?
Yeah.
Not like at least not in the original form.
Right.
I really loved the songs you made, and most of them were Clive's riffs. And I just thought they're really interesting, different songs. I really enjoyed them. With the new project, I'm really loving the new project. But I don't want to throw it all away. But man, there's no way the original members, we're scattered throughout the world.
Yeah.
There's no way we can get together. Maybe I could find other people to relearn songs, but it's not really their songs. And,
That's right.
I know personally, if I joined a band, I had to learn their songs. It wouldn't be as fulfilling to play them.
That's right. We're going to talk about it a little bit later, but actually trying to play gigs in Shanghai and in China, how difficult is it? Do it by yourself or by management, or?
I've done them all by myself, organizing them. I'm not saying I haven't played other shows people organize. Difficulty
because there's some sort of, I don't know if it's true, but if you want to charge a fee to come in, you have to have a license, like an entertainment license. Or something.
Yeah. All right. This is like a history of it. Well, before when I first got here, and the music scene was incredible. It's just whatever. You tell a venue, I'm going to throw a show. It's like, all right, and don't tell me anything. It's like, here's the flyer. You don't even have to mention the bands or whatever.
Right.
You do that within 2 weeks. Not most ideal, but you can do that sort of thing. Just throw a show in 2 weeks anywhere, whatever. Then might have been maybe 3 years now ago. Then they started cracking down. That's when all right, foreigners need to be here on a performance visa, or they need to get an approval for a temporary performance visa. So, but basically, like, who the fuck's here is on
Yeah,
a
that's
performance
right.
visa? No one, you can't live off that.
Yeah.
So, like, most of them are like English teachers are doing some other shit, but like, no one's here to perform. So,
Yeah. God.
I don't want to say it was to discourage foreigners from playing, but you couldn't help but get that feeling from it. I'm not saying that, but that is the feeling we got. It's just all of a sudden, like, we were offered a festival, and I don't remember where to play, and then like we sent their stuff. They're like, well, we want you to play, but the cultural bureau said doesn't align with core values, our socialist core values. I'm like, what? What about that? I like even watered down the lyrics I sent in too. I'm like, these are like soft ass lyrics. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing. It was just, but they didn't, say at that time they hated tattoos. They just went through a tattoo hating streak. They still do, but not as bad. But I think if I'm not mistaken, there was a rapper on the Rap Battle of China, whatever the fuck that show is. And he had like tattoos, and he said some shit, and they're like, all right, and that like sort of propelled all this. And like, so they're like, no more tattoos on TV or playing live, and like people have to cover up their tattoos and shit.
Yeah, the censorship here is crazy.
Yeah, it can get pretty crazy. So at that time, so up until 3 years ago, maybe even a little longer now, it was Swabian, as they say. You could just play whatever, no one gave a shit.
Right.
And then, so then after that came in, there was a period, as you mentioned, that all right, if it's a free show, it's temporary. It's sort of like just people just coming up and jamming. It's like nothing pre-planned or
Right.
anything. The bar's not really making money off it. Just people buying drinks, coming and jamming. So free shows were labeled as like an open mic sort of night. Then like that all ended from when Harley's got shut down. When
Yeah.
I can't even remember
that.
I can't remember the dispute exactly right now. Harley's, big up Dazza. He did a lot of work for the scene. He kept it free shows for as long as he could. But one of the bands, I don't know, they weren't happy with something. It was like a local band in there, so they complained to the bureau like, oh, they're playing shows illegally. I don't know what, I can't really remember. But someone was being a little bitch and like and just tried to rat out Harley's because they didn't get the deal they wanted or something. And they fucked the whole scene. Then Harley's got raided by the police for playing music, the most dangerous of all things. Then after that was it. Like, man, they started. I don't think it was necessarily because of that, but I think it was just the right atmosphere that was like just like other things cascaded from there. Then they started raiding like open mics, like a Monday night open.
Come on.
I think it was like Blue Chair, Blue Frog, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got an open night. People just coming up, having some beers, or just jamming together. Yeah, that got raided.
You got acoustic and just.
Yeah, well, it's a big threat.
It's
dangerous.
hardcore.
And so like that started, and after that, everyone's like, "Fuck!" And then Mao Livehouse. Oh man, sorry Mao, but you fucked people. Mao Livehouse. It was my brain's up. Limousine, but they were doing their Foo Fighters cover band.
Oh
at
yeah.
Livehouse. As far as I knew, they submitted all the documents, all their lyrics, all 45 minutes of their videos, all their songs labeled, everything. Like the process is painfully difficult. They did all that. They paid the submission fee on top of that. And then, so as far as they knew, they were all approved. Like Mao, I guess, said they were approved, or they just didn't say anything or whatever. So they're doing them fucking Foo Fighters cover band there, and the police raid the place. They put them in jail overnight. The band collectively has to pay $20,000. They're like, what the fuck? Like, the venue told us, doesn't matter. You're not registered. Well, isn't this the venue's fault? Nope. You guys are playing illegally here. You got to pay. And then after that, everyone's like, fuck, man, this shit's out of control.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so, like, after that was the last period pre-COVID till the COVID time. So it was like, man, you gotta go to the right venues, ones that, they got the guanxi, or they got everything down legally. And you submit everything, do whatever they say that you need to do, and it's a painful process, but whatever. I'm like, okay, you got a temporary performance license for this night. You're good. Then COVID hit, and it's like, because of the whole foreigner scare, or at least, I think, I gotta be honest, I think it was an excuse. But anyways, so it's like, all right, foreigners can no longer play unless they were registered before. So if like your band has, like, someone's not here and you switched out a member, can't play. If you form a new band, can't play.
Wow.
Foreigners cannot play. And if they've been abroad or something, I don't know if this was a rule, but maybe they can't play either. So unless all your members are here and nobody's left the country, you cannot play. And it's been sort of that way ever since. Now, because of COVID, I guess they obviously had bigger priorities. They seem to have been, all right, whatever. We need like bars and live houses and all things. They've taken obviously a hit just being closed from COVID. So I think they're like, all right, do your thing. Just better watch yourselves, but do your thing, and we'll help you with your business during this time. And so they've been pretty lenient on shows and such. But I think technically foreigners can't really play unless they were already approved before COVID. I don't really know. Like people say stuff. I don't.
Yeah,
so I'm semi pulling this out of my ass or the ass of others. But basically, So now it's they seem to have laxed it. Like people can play, but it's a hammer to fall, man.
Be
like,
careful.
Yeah, we're waiting on it. Eventually, once COVID's like done and shit, man, it's gonna. I feel they're gonna come back.
Yeah.
And start cracking down.
Well, just coming back November, it's been quite good actually. Like the amount of shows that, like YYT Bar, the YYT Park, the
Yep.
Loafers.
Oh, now we're in like a renaissance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously that's a good thing. Let's hope it continues, and more bands.
Oh, now dude, it's exploding now because since COVID, like so many people's bands just got fucked. So like people left or they couldn't come back, and it's still been like that essentially. So like people form new bands, like our current band Chimera Cult. Like we're from all
right, let's talk about this.
Are we going there? Are we ready?
Yeah, let's go. Let's do this. So COVID hit. So let's talk about how that all come together.
All right. Well, when COVID hit, so that's when my Hitobashira, my current bandmates at the time, Ethan and Nikita, they took off. Ethan was like, you know what? There's an outbreak here. I'm not going to stay here. And like, that was with the information I had at the time. That wasn't a bad move.
Yeah.
Then Nikita's like, well, man, my school's closed. I need to make money, man. I can't pay rent. I got to go back to Siberia. So we had to go back, and I was like, well, fuck, I'm staying here. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
But then it's like, there goes my band again. And then so I'm left here with Alpaca. Just finished touring America.
Yeah.
And their singer was going to come back and leave China, but then like as they were touring, that's when everything broke out because it was over Chinese New Year's. So their singer's like, "Oh fuck that! I've already had some health issues. I'm not going to come back to, ground zero." So he never came back. Their guitarist left shortly after that. Just he was pretty much done with China. So their drummer and their bassist came back, Chris and Alessandro. Also Hydroslug, as you know.
Yes.
Big Josh, missed that guy. But
Yeah.
He was I think he was having visa trouble before then, and obviously that wasn't the time he was going to come back. So it was just like, so it was me from Hitobashira, Trey from Hydroslug,
Come on.
and Chris and Alessandro from Alpaca. And so we're just here at Inferno one night. We're just like, Chris is like, I'm going to probably leave in the summer. I got a job offering in Australia. And so we're like, well, you know what? Let's make a stupid cock rock album. Just like really just like, I don't know, like.
So is this project called the Louisiana Slaughterhouse Project?
Originally it was, because we were just like, all right, we got a show coming up, we need a name, and I think Trey was like, Louisiana Slaughterhouse Project. It's very vague, our music's all over the place. So we named it that, and then a lot of people couldn't remember the name, they could remember the acronym, but a lot of locals couldn't say it for sure.
Right.
And the reason we wanted something vague was because like we had like just different styles of music. So we never actually went really through with the cock rock thing, because then we have a jam, we get drunk, because none of us were working at the time really. So we came back here, we listened to some industrial, we're like, whoa, that's cool, let's make it a sort of industrial-like song. I was like,
Yeah.
Then the next practice, Trey's like, well, when I was in quarantine, I was just playing Pantera all the time. Let's make a Pantera song. I was like, fuck it. I was like, well, let's make a Tool song, whatever. And then we just kept ripping off bands, but because we're not really that good at playing their music, we sort of made our own sound with each one. You could see how we ripped them off, but not that successfully. So like we had all these different types of metal. And so we wanted something vague originally with Louisiana Slaughterhouse Project, because it didn't really represent our music. But then we're like, well, let's actually figure out a real name. And I had a song called Chimera, or titled this song, Chimera's Rise. And Alessandro really liked the idea of it, because we came from like 3 different bands, and we have like many different styles merged into one. So we eventually came up with Chimera Cult, and so we've been working with ever since.
Absolutely. So you did an album with this before you started playing the shows?
Because the original idea was Chris was going to leave. He never ended up doing, because they couldn't eventually get him to Australia, so they just gave him a severance, and he just found a job in Shanghai.
Right.
We were like, all right, before you leave, let's just make an album, whatever, one off. and he's actually like a producer, so like.
Oh, nice.
So he was going to take care of all the mix. He's still actually doing it now, but he's almost done. So we're just like, all right, well, if you'll mix it and let's knock one out before you go and just be a one-time thing.
You gave me a copy of the demo to listen to.
Oh shoot! I should have given you we have better versions now.
It was at the bar. I was on New Year's Eve, and it's like, hey, come on, listen to this. One thing that stood out, and I haven't listened to all of them, I can actually hear you sing vocals now.
Yes.
Good to hear.
I've been.
Oh, not that it's a bad thing.
Oh no, but yeah, no. It's because we did for Halloween we did like Alice in Chains like a couple years back, and then Freddie Mercury, Queen last year, and so like I've been trying with like actual real singing, and like as I said before, Freddie Mercury and Lane Staley are like my biggest vocal influences. Well, like non-metal style, I guess. Phil Anselmo will be also one, but I saw like I always want to like screaming. Once I got it, it was just easy. I wouldn't even tire myself out.
Yeah.
Like I want to challenge my vocals a little more. I want to actually, do some not heartfelt, but like passionate vocals with like real ass singing. Like I'm not that good, but I think I could do a little better. So I've been trying to mix it up with this band, because man, like it doesn't have to be fucking screaming to make it powerful and heavy. Like Alice in Chains, for example, man.
Yeah.
So like I want to do more of that, put more emotion without having to just rely on something I can do very easily. So I've been trying that. I'm not terribly successfully, but
it sounded really good. And then I'm not sure exactly what the date was, but it was in January. Got to see you play. I think it was your second gig or your third gig.
That was our second gig.
Second gig.
Yep.
Wow. Really, it was really good. I liked the other band. It was very in your face, but I'm from like the 90s heavy metal, so seeing the new band, it's my sort of style as well. So, and a good, like you said, a good mixture of, like you could tell there's some like Pantera, there's like you said Tool, but then there's some really. Is it Trey's sort of influence? He's into the
100%.
Yeah.
Well, he like it.
The riffs.
I've never been in a band where it doesn't start off with a guitar riff.
Yeah,
very rare, unless somebody else writes a riff and tells the guitarist to play. But yeah, so we'll come up with a riff, and then we'll be like, oh, that's great, or we'll be like, that's shit, or play some more of this style, and he'll be like, all right, and just try this, and all right, that's good, it's good. But no, most of it is obviously like it comes from the riff, and we work on that, and we criticize it. We shit all over it, or we love it, and then.
And I'm always interested to know, how long a song takes. Like, do you work on it for weeks and weeks, or you just pump it out first go and go, that's good shit?
Some of our songs, like our last one, Daddy's Home, we did it pretty much in one session.
Right.
We were just feeling it, man. This is like, Dre's like, hey, here's a simple like metal riff. Let's just go with it. And we just, we just pumped like that one out. The other ones, pretty much most songs. They were like pretty much established in one or two goes. Like we've been on like a crazy just composing streak, and I do the least amount of composing, so I shouldn't say we, but.
And these guys are like really focused, like they're really enjoying playing.
But we're not like, again, we started out this project as sort of like a joke one-off, and so we're having fun, but like we're just vibing really good. Yeah. So we're just pumping out songs like. We're only limited by how much we can only pretty much practice once a week with our schedules.
Right.
But like each jam session, man, we're writing new songs. We don't even want to do. We're already tired of the old ones. We played like 5 gigs.
How is the response with the gigs? I mean, the one that I saw, you could hardly move. You had the mosh pit going. They were jumping up and down.
Is that the last one at C's? Oh, with the one at the one in January?
Yeah, I saw the one at the YYT bar.
Yeah. Oh, dude,
that was a good lineup too.
Great response.
Yeah.
Jimmy Jack from Round Eye, not to brag, but I know some people. The drummer of Round Eye, last show we played at C's with them, he was like, dude, this is your best project yet.
Yes.
And I was like, well, I think the last one's pretty good, but, but no, a lot of people are liking it, and I guess because like when you're like Hitobashira, which is like full metal, so like some people like it, some people really like it, but most people they'll be like, that's nice, or I appreciate it, but I don't really like it. But this one, because we're going all over, we got like heavy shit, we got melodic shit, we got punk songs for some reason. So we're like all over the place. So there's at least like one song everybody likes.
Yes.
And so we've been getting like really, really good reviews. And not to jerk myself off here, but like it's going very well.
Yeah, keep going with it, mate. Like, I know it's difficult to plan the future, like with the pandemic and all that, but do you have plans to do some shows outside of Shanghai?
100%. Well, we were supposed to play Beijing on the 23rd, but
Right.
then they had their cases, and then Temple closed. Or I don't know if it's going to open again. Not sure about that, but yeah, we were supposed to play a couple weeks ago. So now we need to play outside because we've only played Shanghai. Like even Hangzhou we can't go to, and that's like 30 minutes away.
Yeah, right. And even Suzhou, I think, as well. Like,
But I don't want to play outside China. I played China for years. It's great, but I want to go. I've never played North America, my home continent. Europe, I'd love to play. I'd love to work our way up to Vakken if we
Chimera
could.
Cult
That'd be
over
crazy.
there and rock out.
100%. I think everyone would be down because like Kreese and Alessandro, they were touring already with Alpaca in their previous band. They did Europe, they did North America, and Trey, I'm sure Trey's down. So yeah, 100%.
And we were talking before about festival happening in Shanghai or maybe in China. Pearl, that's another place to go and see sort of
More cabaret stuff, but they also have Pearl's a dope ass fucking venue. It's over in Hong Kong.
tribute bands.
They do a lot of tribute stuff because, or like basically they have a house band, and pretty much as far as I know, like that is their profession. They are professional musicians.
Right.
I met them all last night, actually, coincidentally, and they're fucking badass, motherfucker.
Yeah.
They were crushing. They were doing like a tribute to like dead artists, so like a lot of Alice in Chains, Nirvana, a lot of grunge, like Linkin Park and shit, and which isn't grunge, but I think they did a Queen song at the end, Under Pressure. Dude, they were fucking killing it. The girl singer, even the dude was really good, but the girl, she's fucking murdered it.
Yes.
Apparently they're going to be making some original stuff, which would be incredible to see.
That'd be interesting.
They're just the best. But anyways, the guy who's been running it, also another Canadian gent, Grant O, used to work for MTV. Yeah, MTV in Japan.
And he might be coming on the podcast soon, yeah, right?
Oh yeah, you know what? Fuck yeah. Next time, I was paid to say all this. Priming you guys for the next podcast. We were talking last night. He's like fully licensed to do shows outside of his venue, but like obviously it's not he can't do it now because of the COVID situation. But he's looking to do like festivals like the Pearl Presents and like just like so outside the city. So like a 2-day, 3-day tent sort of thing, like some awesome shit that might be coming in the future. As of now, it's sort of in the air, but they just got the go ahead that they could actually do that type of shit. But we gotta wait till this little pandemic thing goes away.
Now tell us about the music scene. I mean, you've been a huge involvement in the Shanghai music scene, one of the veterans. Tell us, like, the involvement, and do you think that in my opinion, I think the underground, like we said before, it's slowly getting better. Do you think it just goes through phases, or?
Not natural phases. It has been. Like when I got here, it was incredible.
Yeah, right.
Then it kept going. It went up and down a bit, but it was still strong until they started cracking down. That like really harmed it. Then COVID hit, and bands were like all over the place, losing members and stuff. So everybody regrouped. Everybody's stuck here. A lot of people aren't working or they're quarantined. So people are just making more music. And now, man, you see it, man. There's like there's 5 shows a day on every weekend.
Great vibe.
During the week, yeah. They're like you have no problem finding a show now. Before it'd be like you're lucky if there's one show a week, at least relative to live rock music. There's always like other types of music going on, but concerning that, yeah,
absolutely.
So now it's like, yeah, this is probably like the best it's been for a long time. Yeah. It's not. I wouldn't say it's better than when I first came here, like those first 4 years. Maybe I just see them with more romanticism as the golden years. But I think then it was a little better. But now it is definitely rising now.
That's good.
In like a short period of time.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about Inferno. People who don't know, we're going to Australia. Is it the only metal bar now in Shanghai?
I think in China, man.
Wow.
There might be one hidden somewhere, but none that I've heard of. And we've gone to like many cities.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. For a population of 1 billion, there's like only one real like dedicated metal bar.
Yeah.
And just a little history. It was started, I think it was 2000. Yeah, 2011, because this will be the 10-year anniversary. 2011 by Martin from Denmark. He started the first Inferno. This is the third one now. Then the second one became a live house, and Martin actually went back to Denmark, Cassandra took over, and she's been the boss ever since, the big boss ever since. The second one was a live house, but then that's when they started cracking down on music and stuff. So like, we got fined a couple times. It's like, well, fuck that. Let's not deal with this shit anymore. And now we're at the third location, which is more closer to the first one in terms of just style. It's just a metal bar. People can hang out, talk about metal. We have some events here, but we obviously can't do live music. And yeah, it's just...
You have an air guitar.
Yep,
and,
air guitar night. We have
movie night.
movie nights, karaoke, metal karaoke.
Yeah.
And then we've been really big into theme nights now because people like love to dress up. So we
Yes.
had, like steampunk night last week.
And even the New Year's Eve. Like
Oh yeah,
everybody
black tie, black metal New Year's. That was dope. Everybody was all corpse faced. Yeah,
there's a good picture on your WeChat as well. That's awesome.
dope.
I'm up the back. I didn't do it. Anyway. So let's get close to wrapping up. What do you want to plug? Inferno, your bands.
Plug Inferno.
Yes.
Big up Spectres, our punk brethrens. Another local bar in Shanghai. Bands, man. I want to plug so many bands, but I know I'm going to forget like one or two, and it's be like, shit. But I'm going to plug them anyways. Fuck it.
Okay.
Big up Rat King. They actually formed alongside of us, alongside Chimera Cult. Carbon's been doing a lot for the scene.
Absolutely.
They're fairly new. They took overseas, made it a live house, been doing a lot of shows.
Won the Battle of the Bands
Oh, that's
a couple
true.
of weeks
They won
ago.
that.
Yeah.
Round Eye has been here forever, but they're like one of the pillars of the music scene. Dirty Fingers, I haven't seen them in a while. They had a little rough patch. Big up Dirty Fingers. Shout out to Goshen, one of the originals. Death to Giants, Machinery, Other Skeletons, all defunct now. But man, I see. I know there's 1,000 other bands I can mention. Big up Skinny Brown, DJ Skinny Brown, man. You've been bringing up music from all over the world to Shanghai. That guy gets like stuff from every country in the world, like just demos of like real new music. He plays them just once a month for his set Papa Suda. Also big up Data, which recently died in Shanghai, but hopefully will come back.
Your bands.
Oh man! Oh yeah, my band Chimera Cult. Go Chimera Cult! Yay!
And
also,
you have a website.
Yes.
Album release. Shows coming up.
We have a show February 20th at Lofa's, then March 5th at Yu Yin Tung, the original one, and then March 12th we're doing an album release sort of listening party here at Inferno.
Come on.
That'll be the official release, but we might have the songs up before that. If you want to check out our songs, chimeracult.bandcamp.com. Chimera spelled Chimera, cult obviously C-U-L-T. Also check out We Are Shanghai. You can find that on Facebook.
We Are Shanghai. You were one of the original people behind this. Can you tell us a bit about this?
Well, We Are Shanghai was started in I think 2011 by Ivan Belsic, Nichols, and I never actually met this guy, but JC Heimbach or something. Basically, it's an open pan-genre submission from any bands or artists in Shanghai. They can send one song each, and we make an album out of it. So it started off as like maybe 20 bands or stuff, but now we're averaging around 40 bands per year. The last one we did was the 7th volume, and we're gonna do the 8th this year. But COVID, so go fuck that. And we'll do the 8th. I don't even know if I'll do it this year because everyone's still recovering, but maybe. But basically, it's pretty much like a time capsule or a snapshot of like the Shanghai music scene. And as I said before, like, Shanghai is incredible, man. You got people from all over the world, different cultures, with their different takes on even like the same music. Like on punk, you could have different types of punk from different different places all over the world. People come together, whatever countries, and join together, and they make some music, and it's very unique in that. And the thing about Shanghai, as I also mentioned, it's very ephemeral. Like people come and go. People are here for a year, people are here for 10 years, or people are here for 3 years. They come, they make a band, they leave, they replace, or whatever. And so like every year, it's just like it's a different fucking lineup. Like half of it'll be established like veterans, the other half will be bands you never heard of before.
Yeah.
Next year, same thing. Like you'll never have like half the bands on each. Well, maybe not that much, but it's almost like half the bands every year are like different bands, new songs, new sound and stuff. So it's always interesting. So the last one releases the 7th. Check it out on weareshanghai.bandcamp.com. I think Facebook is We Are Shanghai Music because there's another We Are Shanghai page or some shit. But that's bigger than all the projects I've been doing. I'm now leading that. I've been doing that the last 3 volumes. Yvonne gave it to me as he left, as his dying Shanghai words. He's not dead, but so I've been doing that. That's the biggest project. Like all the other stuff I talked about was small potatoes. But
Can you still submit for Volume 8?
Well, I haven't opened it up yet. Like, but I guess you could potentially submit to me. It's not like I'd throw it out before then. But I'm not sure when to do the open call because I'm getting the feel for like which bands have started to record since COVID. Because like a lot of them are new bands formed. I know we did, but I don't think any other ones actually did. That being said, if I did set it out there, like it would actually make a lot of bands start to record.
Well, there's a band out there called Full Throttle. I don't know if you've heard
Full
that.
Throttle. I saw those guys.
Self-float.
The sex-core band. Yeah, I saw.
Girls flashing.
Girls are flat. I was ready to rip my dick out of that drummer. He's got some moves and grooves, baby.
Chops.
Full Throttle. Big shout out.
I looked at Google just to do some research and just to find a little bit more about you, and all I saw was
My criminal records.
your criminal records.
They couldn't prove it in court.
Your Tinder profile page, but no, it was a full page of Jason hooked.
The body suspension.
Yeah, body suspension. Yes.
Can't believe
Tell
that's
us all about that.
That's on Google.
Just so many stories and photos about that.
That was Big Up Lion, or Elaine. She goes under Elaine's art, but also by Lion. Yeah, she's big into like the whole alternative scene here, and so she does body suspension, which is where you put metal hooks through your skin and you hang up for a while.
Wow.
Hang out, I should say. Yeah, so she asked me to want to do that for one of her shows, and I was like, yeah, all right, I'll do that. And I was like, the whole time I was like, maybe I should do that. I'm like, nah, come on, do it. Other people have done it. You can do it. It's not, just try it. So I went to try it. I'm like, all right, just make this the most pussy-ass way you can do it. Like, make it the easiest on me as you can. So they just put it through the back, which is like standard, 2 hooks through the back, and then like a little leg support because I'm relatively heavy, I guess. Well, I was at the time. I'm not fat or anything for you viewers. So yeah, so I got the easiest way, and then like my girlfriend surprised me. Like she came out, and she did it too, and she did actually like more badass than me. She had like hooks through her back and her legs, where I had my legs tied up.
So you were like swinging, like I said that like you come together and you kissed.
We were suspended. Yeah, we had some pretty hot kisses there, and we were being held up by our skin through metal. So we tried it out, and people were like hoisting us up, and it was like, I was like pulling us up. But after that, it's just like, all right, it's not actually that bad, and you're. Like there's an initial like, there's some metal going through me,
like a beastie.
And then when it pulls you up, there's sort of like momentum and a bit of swing that's sort of uncomfortable. But then after that, it's nothing. I just got bored in the end. I'm just like swinging around with a beer in my hand, and it's like, it's been like 10, 20 minutes. I can't remember how long, but like, my beer's empty. Let's just finish it and go get another beer. It was cool though. Like I was really glad to try them. I wish I just did it like the full way through, like without the ropes aiding and dealing with my. It was an extreme thing I never thought I'd do, and I think people see it and they think, well, that's the craziest thing ever.
Yeah.
If you do it, it's actually not that bad. Now there's more harsher or painful, badass ways to do it, and I might try those in the future. But yeah, I'm very glad I did it.
All right, guys. I want you to send your photos of your hooks and through the neck and
support.
Yes, viewers' discretion. All right, and speaking of that, like being very artistic and all that, I've noticed lots of tattoos. So tell us about how that all come about. Your tattoos, or any stories behind that?
All right, the first one I got was on my chest. It's basically from when I was near the tail end of my university career. I was getting into Nietzsche because I heard his name everywhere, and I was always into philosophy. So I painstakingly read it. Because I'm a horrible reader. I have to read something like 10 times before I understand it. But I read his The Birth of Greek Tragedy. It was the first essay I read by him. And I was always like, I love art and everything, but there's a part of me that's more pragmatic and practical, I just think like, you know what, art's nice and pretty and shit, but it's sort of useless, man. There's more important things.
Yes.
But like I always wanted to make art and stuff, but I could never justify it. And that was like the first a piece of literature that actually like made sense to me, justified to me. I cannot explain to you now why I did, because it's been 10 years. But anyways,
Yes.
So, and also there was just a part like, and I'm not a deep philosopher or anything. I'm just pulling shit out of my ass. But there's always a part of me. I always just wanted a tattoo. Like I always wanted a tattoo, and it's been like, I'll get this, I'll do this, and I never really stuck to it. And you know what? I was like 24, 26. I was like, you know what? I'm doing this. I'm getting it. It's been too fucking long. And you know what? I really like that essay. That means something to me. It really inspired me. I got a laurel wreath, which is very familiar, and a thyrsus, which is like a pine cone staff. And they represent Apollo and Dionysus, respectively. And it was a dichotomy between, like, I don't know, just, like, I'm really big on order. So I really gel with Apollo and order and everything. But there's also like a part of me that's just like chaos and destruction, or just like having a fucking good time, which is what Dionysus, that bad motherfucker, was all about. Just getting drunk and shit. And you know, I'm not justifying getting drunk or anything like that, but you know what? I always had that dichotomy, and like he really explained it, like the dichotomy in humans. And so you know, it justified me doing art pretty much, which I couldn't do to myself beforehand. So I got that on my chest, and on my shoulder I got a bunch of eggs with eyes cracking open and giving birth to a fetus. And that to me was always it's based on just the universe is like pretty much just dead matter, you know, as far as we know, whatever. And all these like just dead inanimate objects like eventually gave birth to living things, and then human beings, which are like sentient and self-aware. Like that was always, like a friend said this one time, it was just a crazy thing, like we're just the universe looking on itself and realizing we're alive. And that's always like really blown my mind. Like we're just rocks that compiled into something living, and then like essentially knew it exists. It's like a finger on a hand saying, hey, I'm a finger, and I can see the whole body, but I'm not part of it. But it actually still is, but it can't see the hand for some fucking reason, because I don't know, fingers don't have eyes. But anyways, like that was always a cool thing to me. And then from there, I just went down the arm. I just went to the cycle of life and death, and like even when we die, our bodies are eaten by. So I put a lot of carrion animals like crows and beetles on there, and fungus, things that like live even on the death of something else. And you know, the circle of life. And at the end, it's a lyric, sort of I altered a bit, but a lyric from our first Hitobashira song, Debris. It's like, born from debris, once more shall be. It's like, yeah, we're just born from like garbage, like star garbage and shit. Just like things that just collided and crushed together, and life formed, and then like when we die, we're just gonna become sand and shit. Things are gonna eat our body. We're just gonna become rocks again. We're gonna become nothing animate. You know, just be dust in the wind. And then yeah.
Finally, what does the future hold for Jason?
Man, well, I'm saving up money now. It's not my first time making money. It was dirt poor the first couple of years I was here. I don't know. I just want to push the band forward, keep Inferno rocking, and just do as much for the music scene as I can. But the band is always, you know, that's my big dream sort of thing.
It drives you. You can just tell.
Yeah.
You know,
I want to tour. I want to tour the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in your blood. It's in, you know, it's just very passionate. You just tell that music is your thing, and you want to be on stage.
I'm not good at it, but I want it. I want it bad
sweat, drink some beers, sweat it out, and rock out.
Fucking right.
That's the way it should be. At the end, I like to ask some just like questions, like top 2 or 3, and you just tell me, like, as of today, what are your top 3, blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
You ready, Jason? All right.
Let's do it.
So, we're, you know, music. Tell me your top 3 bands as of today.
All right.
All time.
Queen, Alice in Chains. Third one, man. Depends on my mood. I guess Pantera. I'm in a metal mood.
Come on. In terms of movies, what are your top 3 favorite movies of all time?
Blade Runner for sure. All right, I'll say Blade Runner 1 and 2 because I've been into that recently.
Yeah.
Third movie, Monty Python, Quest for the Holy Grail, just because you watched it recently. It's a fucking incredible movie. Let's go with the Blade Runners in that for now. I'm sure that's not terribly accurate, but
Your top 3 favorite beers.
oof. Well, Acai is my top right now, man.
Come on.
Acai, man. It's just smooth, crisp
It is.
taste. Acai will sponsor our band. But Acai is great, man. It's a great middle ground beer. Second, I don't know, maybe Molson Canadian. That's basic shit. That's not even. It's just a beer I drink. No, just Acai. That's the only beer. That's the only consistent beer that. But big shout out to Witchcraft Brewery and Stone, and also I guess McKellar. But they make some good beers. But Acai is just that's the only beer that's my go-to beer. Acai.
Okay. All right. Besides Shanghai, what are your 3 top favorite Chinese cities?
Beijing,
Yeah.
for sure. Qingdao is pretty rad. I don't think we had enough time there, but it might be a bit too touristy. But
Nah.
I had food poisoning that day, so I came late.
Oh.
And I only saw a bit of it. I think it's I'm not sure what I said.
What was-
Liliang in Kunming. That was a beautiful city.
Ooh.
I brought my family there when they came to visit. A little touristy, but it's a nice, cute little city. I liked it. I like Japanese, sort of teppanyaki stuff, because that's just straight up meat.
Yes.
Third, Italian. I like a little carb heavy, but yeah, Italian food for sure.
Absolutely. And finally, who is your greatest inspiration / hero?
I was Kurt Cobain for many years, but growing older, I don't really agree with a lot of things he did or viewed. Freddie Mercury, man, he's a badass motherfucker. You know what? Freddie Mercury. Let's give it big up Freddie.
What do you think?
Oh, and maybe my dad, but but
he's there waiting. Come on, son. Come on. So your father and Freddie Mercury. Did you actually watch the Queen movie?
yeah,
What do you think of that?
it was a nice movie. He wasn't, it was Hollywooded.
Yes, very. Jason, have you been to Australia? And if not, when will you come to Australia? Fans are asking for
I
you.
have not been, but I understand you guys also have a Toronto there, as we do in Canada.
Yes.
So I'm hitting that up.
Very, very close to
Hitting that
where
first.
I live, actually.
We also have a Sydney, I believe.
Yes.
All right, well, we were destined
So,
to
so, we
unite.
say, Toronto, with the Australian slang, we just say Rono.
Oh, we say Toronto. I don't even say Toronto, but that's apparently how we say it. I say Toronto.
Right.
Australia's not too far from here.
Come on.
Coming on.
Just
Coming.
bring your band down there and rock out.
Fucking rocket. Get ready for that shit, Australia. Can you handle that?
This is what the podcast's all about. I want to get some bands from Shanghai to come down to Australia and play some shows in Sydney and my hometown of Newcastle.
We have a Newcastle too. It's right next to Brampton, actually.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on to the podcast. You know, you're waving the flag for original music in Shanghai. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep promoting it. Have a good time. Rock out. Let me know when you're playing so I can come watch you. And yeah.
February 20th, Lofas for all you Australians.
righteous cries in their sheepskin, borrowed disguise, wrapped, betraying their king. They will deliver words of the preachers. They will deliver words of the preachers. Silence the fog! It covers the screeching of the killer.
Hi, I'm Tony Fair, founder of Victorian Grooming Company. Is your beard feeling dry or the skin underneath itchy? Maybe you'd rather soften and tame your beard instead. Our classic collection of beard oils, balms, and soaps will leave your beard looking, feeling, and smelling amazing. And if you prefer shaving, our pre-shave oils and shave soaps will give you a smooth and razor burn-free shave. Handmade in Edmonton with natural ingredients. Visit victoriangrooming.com.
Hi, I'm Nigel the Shanghai Psychic. I can tune into your loved ones in the spirit world, but I can also tune into you, tell you about your path and the choices that you need to make and need to know. I'm currently giving 30% discount on all Tell Craig Your Story listeners. Just use the code Tell Craig Your Story for 30% off your first psychic reading with me online at Nigel the Shanghai Psychic.